10 Mysterious Discoveries of Pre-Human Art. Number 10. Trinal Shell 500,000 years ago. Zigzag engravings on a shell discovered in Trinal, Eastern Java, might be the world's oldest art. The etchings date back 500,000 years and are believed to have been the work of Homo erectus, the ancestor of both Neanderthals and modern humans. The freshwater mussel shell was examined and stored along with skeletal remains. Over 100 years later, a biologist studying Homo erectus's usage of marine resources uncovered its significance. Were intentional and carved by a sharp object like a shark tooth. The designs were done on a fresh shell and would have stood out as white lines on a dark canvas. Experts have ruled out weathering or animals, leaving little doubt that Homo erectus intentionally carved these designs. Rings 176,000 years ago. In the shadowy recesses of France's Bruniquel cave. Dating back 176,000 years ago, these are the world's oldest well-dated structures. The rings were built 45,000 years before the arrival of modern humans to Europe. Neanderthals built the formations. Hundreds of stalagmites, which have been broken from the ground, cut to similar length, and laid out in concentric oval patterns. Given the depth within the cave, experts suggest ritual significance. The rings reflect a mastery of the cave environment, harnessing a reliable source of light and abstract thinking ability. 8. Eagle talons of Crepina 130,000 years ago. Eagle claws discovered in Crepina, Croatia, reveal that Neanderthals had keen style sense long before the arrival of modern humans to Europe. Experts believe these white-tailed eagle talons were worn as jewelry, either as a bracelet or a necklace. They appear polished, as if bound together with fabric, and contain wear beyond the life of an eagle. The talons were originally discovered 100 years ago with a large cache of Neanderthal bones, but no one made the connection to jewelry until recently. The age of the talons means Neanderthals were using abstract thinking to craft body adornments without any influence of modern humans. Experts suspect the talons were harvested from live birds. Catching eagles is extremely difficult, reflecting sophisticated hunting abilities of Neanderthals. Number 7. Bilsingsleben elephant tibia 400,000 years ago. In 1969, in the early Paleolithic site of Bilsingsleben, Germany, archaeologists discovered the first evidence that art was significantly older than Homo sapiens. Engravings on an extinct forest elephant bone were dated to 400,000 years ago, thousands of centuries before the advent of modern human art. Experts believe Homo erectus carved the lines. The fragment of tibia contains two groups of incised parallel lines. They are regularly spaced and appear to have been made with one tool at the same time. Similar markings appear on a forest elephant vertebra at Stranska Skala, a site in the Czech Republic. No one is sure of the line's significance. Some suggest they are proto-writing. Others believe them to be maps. Some propose that they are calendar marks. The tibia has even been used in studies exploring mathematical and astronomic awareness in pre-humans. Number 6. La Pharisee child's grave 60,000 years ago. In 1933, in La Pharisee Neanderthal cave complex in southwest France, experts unearthed the oldest rock art in Europe. At burial site number 6, they discovered a limestone slab covering the grave of a child. The tomb reflects not only cultural complexity but evidence of pre-human art. The underside of the burial slab was marked with cupules, a primitive form of rock art. The slab contained two large indentations and 8 pairs of smaller hollows. Cupules are found throughout the world and from all 3 eras of the Stone Age. There is debate among academics whether the La Pharisee burials were merely caused by natural slumping. If these were intentional burials, they would be the oldest yet known. Number 5. Red pigment of Maastricht Belvedere 250,000 years ago. In the 1980s, when anthropologists explored Maastricht Belvedere cave in the Nederlands, they discovered a red substance in the soil. Analysis revealed it to be hematite, an iron oxide used as a pigment by ancient populations. Scientists concluded the red material entered the soil in liquid form, by spilling. This was evidence that Neanderthals were using red pigments 250,000 years ago, significantly earlier than previously thought. The source of the material was over 40 kilometers away from the cave and would have had to been transported by its inhabitants. Many believe these pigments were used for wall painting and body decoration. This practice is still employed today among hunter-gatherers. However, others are skeptical, suggesting that it might have been used as a preservative, medicine, insect repellent, or hide softener. Number 4. Feathers of Fumane Cave 44,000 years ago. In Fumane Cave near Verona in northern Italy, anthropologists made a discovery that changed our perception of pre-human art. Among a deposit of Neanderthal bones, they unearthed evidence that feathers had been used as decoration and ornamentation. 660 bird bones of 22 species showed evidence of scraping and cutting around the flight feathers. These feathers themselves have no culinary value, and most of the harvested species like vultures, falcons, and eagles are poor food sources. Utilitarian uses have been ruled out as feathered arrows had yet to be invented. The most likely scenario, the feathers were used as jewelry or decorations. We cannot know for certain whether these were everyday wear or limited to ritual usage, but there is no doubt that Neanderthals cared about their appearance. Number 3. Venus of Tantan 400,000 years ago. In 1999, on the banks of the river Dra near Tantan, Morocco, anthropologists unearthed an object which might be the oldest known representation of the human form. Known as the Venus of Tantan, this figure has been dated to the Middle Aequian period. Given the date, this could not have been made by Homo sapiens or even Neanderthals but by Homo erectus. There is debate whether the Venus of Tantan is actually a sculpture. Flecks of a paint-like substance and groves on the surface offer signs of modification. Skeptics suggest the shape is due to fortuitous natural weathering. The discovery of the Venus of Berkat Ram, a similarly dated and shaped sculpture, suggests the tantalizing possibility of a culture of pre-human figurine construction. Number 2. Gorham's Cave Art 40,000 years ago. In 2012, at the back of Gorham's Cave on the southeast face of Gibraltar, archaeologists discovered an engraving they believe to be the work of Neanderthals. The design is geometric, resembling a hashtag. It is believed to be 40,000 years old. Humans did not arrive in the cave until 10,000 years later, long after Neanderthals abandoned it. Experiments were performed to replicate the design. Experts discovered that it would take 200 to 300 strokes to replicate these marks in the hard dolomite. There is no doubt that these were made intentionally and the result of abstract thought. As to the symbolism of this design, no one can be sure. The marks appear where the cave's orientation shifts by 90 degrees. The possibilities that it is a map or a territorial marker have been explored. Number 1. Painted shell necklaces 50,000 years ago. Researchers in Spain unearthed a treasure trove of what appears to be Neanderthal jewelry. The finds include shells and bones with evidence of craftsmanship more than 10,000 years before modern humans made it to Europe. Many of the shells were perforated as if to be worn on a necklace. While it is possible this occurred accidentally, traces of paint on the shells suggest otherwise. Similar items appear back as far as 70,000 to 100,000 years ago in Africa. However, there is a conspicuous absence of decorative items found from this period in Europe. At the time, these northern lands were the home of Neanderthals, who were long deemed incapable of symbolic thought. These painted shells tell a different story. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.